Now let's take a look at some of the more powerful pairings of tools in Product Design Suite. In this case, we're going to take a look at specifically cable and wire harness design utilizing AutoCAD Electrical for doing schematic layout. Here we have the electrical cabinet itself from the front loader rear chassis assembly. Now, as you can see in there, we already have a harness assembly. Now, from this point, we exported all of the connector locations from the physical model and imported those into the AutoCAD electrical schematic. Now, once we have those connectors laid out, at that point, it's just a matter of picking the gauge and color of wire and routing the schematic. So it's kind of a unique workflow that's supported in Product Design Suite because we can physically lay out the cabinet assembly itself with the electrical connectors and then export that connector data to AutoCAD Electrical. From that point, we create our point-to-point wiring schematic as you see me doing right now. And then when that's done, we export the wire loom or the wires themselves, that wire configuration, that gets exported back into Inventor Professional. So we have a true 360 degree, it's essentially two products working together, data from one feeding the other, and then data from that one feeding back into the original. So here we are back into the electrical cabinet assembly, and we will go ahead and grab the harness assembly from AutoCAD Electrical, and now you'll see that all of those wires will be processed here in Inventor Professional. So there are all the new wires. You just saw all of the connectors. So we'll import that wire data, and in a second you'll see all of the wires pop in to our assembly. Now from this point, it's just a matter of using the routing tools to route the wires themselves, the conductors, through the harness or cable assembly. Now, one of the unique things about cable and wire harness in Inventor Professional and Product Design Suite is that the harness diameter, like our bill of materials, is going to be filled out with different diameters of heat shrink tubing for the harness, and those values are based on the number of conductors that go through those sets of, or those pieces of the harness. As you can see, we have multiple thicknesses here in the harness itself, and those are all based on the number of conductors and the gauge of the conductors which go through that harness. We can also manually and automatically route those conductors through the harness, as well as manually changing, like for example when we don't like where one of the wires is automatically routed, we can manually select a different segment, start and finish segment of the harness to reroute that conductor itself. Okay, at this point the harness itself is done, and we're now going to take this data and check it into Vault, our data management tool, which allows all of the members and people that participate in the design itself to track and keep tabs on where the design team is with regard to progress on the design itself. In this case, I have to log into the Vault as the user, whoever my user account happens to be. And once that's done, I can then take the design that I've created, in this case the harness, and go ahead and check that into the Vault. Once that's done, all of the members of the design team will be notified that a new version is checked in. In this case, it's the initial version, but in any case, at any point in time when any of the users, any of the Vault users or members of the design team who have access to the data through the Vault, anytime any of the files are changed, all the members of the design team are notified of that change, and nobody can basically save over a version that somebody else is working on. It's a very, very powerful tool.